Hi, Sophia. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good, thank you. Can you hear me well?
Yes.
All right, awesome. I just wanted to thank you again for giving me the opportunity of recording. I know that you know it's for class, so I'm very excited that we can share this with my supervisor and get you the best help that we can. Okay.
Yeah.
So, do you want to tell me how's your week been? I haven't seen you or talked to you in about a week now. So, how have you been feeling?
I've been good. I got into a fight with my mom because I was supposed to pick up groceries and I stayed home because I had a headache. It's been okay.
And what do you think triggered that headache?
Um, I have been filing out applications online for jobs, and I became kind of overwhelmed. So I got a headache and I went to sleep. And then after my mom came in and she got upset with me.
So, can you tell me what part of the application process seems to be harder for you?
um it would probably be when I get really anxious um when filling in my skills, because I don't know if I'm good at the job, or if I'm going to be good at the job um that I'm applying for. So it makes me think I can put stuff there that's not true or something.
Hmm.
And if I ask my mom, she tells me she would rather I wait because I may not have a good experience, or I may not be ready for it.
Hmm.
I also think, what if I get a call back and I go to an interview and don't even know what to say? I don't know. It makes me really anxious, and I prefer to just stop trying.
I remember you talked about this last time too. I was wondering if you would like to do some practice, like a role play type of thing, and get an idea to what a job interview is like. So, would you be interested in that?
Yeah,
Okay,
of
great.
course.
Okay, so I'm going to ask you some questions. First, I'm going to um, explain to you where this application role play would be for. So pretend that this would be for a retail clerk position at a Ross or a Marshall's store. Okay, are you familiar with those?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. So remember that at the interviews, usually the first thing that they're going to do is introduce themselves. You're going to want to introduce yourself as well, a good firm handshake. And then they're probably going to ask you to take a seat. And at that time, they're going to probably start asking you questions. Most of the time, they will already have your resume. So that's going to be helpful for you as well, because what you're going to say is what already goes on your resume. So some of the answers you should already know based on what you wrote there. And if
Mm-hmm.
not, that's what we're going to practice a little bit right now. Okay.
Okay.
So, hi, Sophia. My name is so and so from the Ross Human Relations Management Department. I'm going to be interviewing you today. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm very good. I wanted to thank you for coming as well. And let's go ahead and start with some questions, okay?
Okay.
So, how old are you?
I'm 19.
Great. And why do you want this job?
Because I really like um, clothes and retail, and it would it would be an opportunity to learn skills, um, to help me in the job, um, and I really like this specific store, so it would be really nice to work there.
Okay. And what do you think makes you suitable for this job?
Um, I think that I work really hard. In school, I really liked school and dedicating time to studying. So I think that I would be able to apply those skills to this position as well. And I'm also wanting to learn um, new skills and bring skills also to the position.
Awesome. Do you have any experience that has anything to do with this job?
Um, no, not really, except for in school they had um, like concession stand jobs and stuff. I helped a couple of times, but not too much. No.
Okay.
And I also volunteered at church. Um, we had a like an apparel team.
Mm-hmm.
So I helped on the apparel team, and I stood at the front where they would buy shirts and hats and stuff, and I helped the team with that as well.
Okay. Do you speak any other languages other than English?
Yes, I'm bilingual. I speak Spanish as well.
Okay, perfect. So just so that you remember, this opportunity is a part-time opportunity. That means that you would only work around 20 hours a week. Are you a punctual person?
I would I be able to get accommodation?
Yes, of course.
Okay, because I would have to have some accommodations due to some of my diagnosis. So a visual schedule would really help me understand and prepare for my work and just be able to schedule my time better.
Great. That
So
would
with that, I could be punctual.
okay, perfect. And how about organization skills? Are you organized?
Yes.
Can you give me an example of something that you like organizing?
Um, I like my notes organized, and in my binders, I like all my school supplies to be very organized. And I just have a specific way of putting it in order, so I always want it to be in that order, and color coded and prioritized.
Okay.
Yeah.
How would you rate your telephone skills? Like, are you okay with talking on the phone to customers or?
Um, Not really. I struggle with that, but maybe in due time I could be.
Okay, good. Do you have good computer skills?
Yes, I do.
Okay. And how about working as a part of a team or preferring to work individually? Which one would you prefer?
Um, I prefer to be individual. I just work better by myself, but either, I guess, if it's needed, I could do both.
Okay, perfect. Can you give me an example of one time in your life that you had a problem and you dealt with it successfully?
Um, I would say just in school. Like what kind of problem?
Just any problem that you might have had and you dealt with it in a good way and you were able to solve that problem. Could have been with a friend or with a homework assignment.
Um, I don't know. Um, maybe with school, with my work assignments, I was able to get more time on an assignment because I had a really how do you say, like, I had an anxiety experience where it kind of affected me in my school, but I was able to get better and work with my teachers to make up work lost and make up my grades.
Okay, great. Um, what kind of hobbies and interests do you have?
I like reading, drawing. Um, I like to play computer games. Um,
Okay, good.
and watch some shows.
Awesome. And what salary do you expect to get? Or what hourly rate would you expect to get?
I guess whatever the minimum wage would be.
Perfect. Do you have any questions for us?
No questions.
All right, awesome, Sophia. So I can tell that you got very nervous, obviously.
Yeah.
But you really held your own. You did a great job at answering the questions. Um, and um, it was a very good skill that even though you didn't know some of the questions, you kind of just try to answer to the best of your ability. So not leaving any blank spaces is definitely better than just leaving things up in the air. So I think you did a great job with that, but you definitely need a little bit more practice, which hopefully I can help you with that for a few more weeks. Um, some of the things that are amazing is that you did ask for your accommodations that you are entitled to. So, as you know, because you have your IEP at school, you are able to continue with accommodations whenever you ask for a job. Um, and that's great that you mentioned it because, if one of the questions is, hey, are you going to be punctual to this job? And you are worried about scheduling being an issue because we've talked about that before. The fact that you brought it up and that you asked for those is actually great. Um, and just so that you are aware, employers are not really allowed to ask you what your diagnosis is. But as long as you tell them, hey, I need this accommodation, they should be able to provide it for you, especially if it's something simple like just a schedule or something like that. So that was great. You should be very proud that you asked that question. Um, when there was one of the questions, the one with telephones, um,
Mm-hmm.
where you said that you're not really good at that. And that's a good opportunity instead of saying that you're not good at it, so that it sounds a little bit better when you're in an actual interview. Just say that that is one of the areas where you want to grow a little bit more. So that way you see how we go from a negative, don't, I'm not good at it, to a positive, I want to grow in this area. Do you see that?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that would be much more beneficial if you're applying for a job because that lets the person know not that you cannot do something, but that you want to get better at something. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Awesome. And then always, whenever you're applying for any job, you should look into like the job description. I'm pretty sure you've been doing that because it tells you when you're applying, like what is expected from you, right? Like the job.
Oh. Yeah. Yeah, I've seen it.
Okay, perfect. So when you look at those things, and you already know obviously the job that you're applying to, like the store or anything, you can kind of come up with a few questions to ask them based on that, because that shows the interviewer that you're kind of doing some digging into their company, that you're supposed to be applying to. So that shows a little bit of more extra interest. And that just looks good that you have some questions, you know? And also for these type of things, you can write them down. You can bring a little notepad and prepare the questions that you have. And that way it's not, it doesn't get you in the spot and like you have to think about them, but rather you already have them written. And then you can just bring out your notepad and kind of write down the answers. And another thing I want you to remember is that obviously every job is different. So this is just a sample of one scenario, right? But other people can ask you for different things. But I think you did a great job for it being your first time. I could tell you were a little bit nervous, but it's all about getting better. So after we did this, how do you feel?
I feel better. I feel like a little bit more confident because I didn't know what to expect.
Right. Do you think you want to do a few more of these type of role play scenarios?
Yeah.
Because what we could do is you could give me a list of maybe 3 or 4 of the places that you're actually applying to, and I can give you a little bit of homework until next week, where you can look up some information about these particular jobs, and I can find maybe some interviews that are specific to that job to see the difference between this one and those specific ones. Would you want to do that?
Yes.
All right, great. So as soon as we're done here today, you can email me those 3 or 4 places that you've been applying to so that we can work on them. And how are you feeling regarding the questions? Do you think that they're too personal? Do the questions make you nervous? Was there any one of the questions that you didn't like?
Just where I had to talk about like how I would be good for the position because I'm not too sure like how to express that. So I just wasn't sure what to say
Okay.
because I also have never had experience in too much of that except for like helping and volunteering.
Okay. That makes sense. Um, so I know that last week also we did I asked you to do some journaling, and we talked about writing down maybe a good moment that you had that week. Um, were you able to do that?
Yes.
Do you want to share what you wrote?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I just I wrote down about something that happened between a friend and I, my best friend Zuli. We had a good discussion and we talked a lot about, we kind of just like opened up to each other a lot. And it was really good for me because I don't really talk to a lot of people about